Hello everybody, my name is Ilya.
And my name is Tyler. Together we make up Kovray, a couple that loves to play board games.
And love glass making.
I've never tried it, so I don't know.
Yes, you have, because we've played Mille Fiori.
This one?
Yeah!
Oh, well, I still haven't made any glass.
But you've made some class.
Ooh. Mille Fiori is designed by Reiner Knizia and it's published by Devir Games. In this game, you'll take the role of a glassmaker and you'll be working to try and make your connections amongst this beautiful town, making sure that you have all the right materials, all the right routes, and all the right tools to be able to make yourself known as the most wonderful glass maker.
Do you mean the best?
The best.
The best. Now generally in this game you'll be drafting cards, selecting one to play in different areas that score different ways. You'll keep playing until either the card decks have been exhausted or you've used up all your diamonds, and by the end of the game the player with the most points wins. If you're interested in learning more about how to play this game, feel free to check out our How to Play video. But let's dive into our review. What are some comparisons for Mille Fiori?
Yep, that's the first thing we're going to go into, is we're going to talk about some comparables. And on my list, kind of feels like an obvious choice, but I'm going to say Azul here. And the main reason for this is almost like you're grabbing cards to ensure you're scoring the right points by placing these acrylic tiles. And yes, they are these tiles that make me think of Azul, but in terms of scoring, there are a few different areas that definitely speak to me in multitudes of all the different Azul games.
That's a really good comparison. See, I was walking through our board game library and I was wondering which one of these is going to be my comparable. And it hit me and I felt so smart because my comparable is Sushi Go Party.
Yeah, that's good.
Now, the reason it's my comparable is because the way that you play is very similar. You'll draft a card, you'll play it, and based on the card you've played, you'll score in different ways. Where here you're doing almost the exact same thing. You're playing your card, and where you place your diamond in the area that you've played for, they're all scored differently. Yeah. And if you really go all in on one, you can maybe benefit from it, which is really a similar-esque type feel in Sushi Go Party.
Yep, I agree 100%.
So if those two resonate with you, stay tuned. Or not stay tuned, you're already here.
This might be a game you want to check out.
Exactly. Well, why should you check out Mille Fiori?
Well, I think the first piece that I want to talk about is instant gratification. Everybody loves instant gratification, at least I do. And
is that the millennials in us?
Is that what it is?
I think so.
I've been trained to love instant gratification. But in particular, this game is basically draft a card, play a card, place your tile, and score those points immediately. So you get to move your little score marker along the board, and let me tell you, the scores in this game are relatively high, so it'll feel good when you pass the 100 mark once and maybe even twice.
And not only that, when you play your tile or your diamond, you may have an opportunity to play another card. Which means you can play another diamond, which means you can maybe get another card. And who doesn't love going bam, 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 30 points ahead of Tyler, eat it.
Until I play another card and catch up. Which brings me to our next point and why you should probably check this game out, is there are many scoring opportunities in this game. As you can probably see from the board, the number of places that you can place your tiles are kind of countless.
And each of them come with its own little mini game. What's something that's really clever in this game too is there's enough cards in this game so that a tile can be placed in every single spot. So if for all of a sudden you remove one of the cards to take the ship actions, one of the areas could not be filled.
What?
Interesting fact.
What? No. But you can score points in many different ways, and that's always fun because you can start to strategize and plan ahead to see how you can maybe make those combos like Ilya was talking about, or just maybe focus on one area so you can ultimately score big points.
And the last point that we have for why you should check it out, and this one may be a little bit of an abstract one, but the complexity and the what the game is. I feel like matches is how long the game is. Because sometimes there's games that are super complex and they're only like 15 minutes. You're like, why did we learn all these rules to do all of this?
True.
Or some really easy games that just take too long and they don't need to be that long. I feel like this game has found the perfect mend, because it's about a 45 to 1 hour game for all the player counts, because you're essentially just drafting and playing cards and moving. And it just feels just right. It has that really distinct feel.
Yeah. Yeah, and like this goes hand in hand with saying that it's relatively easy to teach. It's pretty quick to get to the table, even though it takes up a bit of space.
It's beautiful. It's a table presence.
Yes. And it's pretty replayable because you never know what's going to be left in your hands to draft.
Well, and it's really dependent on the players.
Well, enough about why you should check it out. Let's talk about why you might not want to check this game out.
Well, I think for me, because all the points you score are like immediate and there's no really end game scoring or no secret objectives, you know where everybody is at all times. And at times, Tyler could have a really good play and just get really ahead of me. And catching up is, although you get those 10, 15, potentially 20 points every now and then, it is harder. And if you're always chasing somebody, that doesn't always feel great.
Yeah, so there's no end game scoring in this game, which can, to Ilya's point, be very discouraging.
Mystery factor. Who wins? Nobody knows.
Sure, that. But my point being, before I was rudely interrupted, my point being is that it can be discouraging because it's almost, especially if somebody is in a very, very big lead, it's almost like the game is over at that point and there isn't a whole lot of things that you can do potentially to catch up. And that can feel kind of, again, discouraging.
True. What else?
My next point that I probably bring up is the number of scoring opportunities that are in this game. Now, we talked about how you can combo them off and enter all of these different spaces, but I do actually think that there are a lot, and sometimes it can be very overwhelming for players. Deciding whether or not what cards you need to draft, deciding what cards and where your tokens you want to play should go. On top of that, you've got to worry about the other players you're playing against, because maybe you have to draft to stop them. So this sounds like I'm just talking about simple strategy decisions here, but to my point is I do think that because there are so many different spots that you're allowed to place your tiles, it can get a little overwhelming to make those decisions.
I do think this game had a huge missed opportunity where they could have made a one-page card that just described placements, scoring for each of the locations. I think that would have been extremely...
Player aids are stellar.
Yeah, player aid here would be extremely helpful. Just because, I don't know if I agree later in the game, but if you're just learning the game, it is a little bit daunting to understand that this is how you get your bonus points, this is how you can play an extra card, this is how the points are scored. And not all of them are the same. Like in the
triangle one particularly.
The pyramids, yeah. Like your tile that you place, or your diamond that you place, it doesn't have to match where every other place you do. So like little intricacies like that definitely you have to pay attention to, which can be difficult learning the game.
Yeah, exactly. I think those are the main reasons why you wouldn't want to check this game out. But overall, what did you think?
I really enjoyed this game. There's a lot of that I really like in a game. There's a lot of this combos, which I love. And the table presence in this game is just gorgeous. I think placing all your different colored diamonds onto the board and begin to fill up with color, it just brings a lot of joy to me. So it's a game that I definitely will be introducing, and it definitely... We played it a fair bit of times. We have not actually played it at a full player count yet. No. And I'm very excited to, because I think it'll be that much better, because a lot of this game really relies on the interruptions and the counter strategies against other people. Because if someone's one area, they can really run away with it, and they need kind of that checks and balances kind of deal.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that like there's a lot of things that are fun about this game. I don't know if I agree. It is a beautiful game, but I think it takes up a lot of space for the type of game that it is.
What?
Yeah. That doesn't have anything against the actual gameplay. I think it runs smoothly. After playing it a few times, I'm very excited to play it at a higher player count. And yeah, those are just like things that I kind of keep in mind when I'm doing this game or playing this game. I do also like the disruptions, so at a higher player count, it's something that you definitely need to keep in mind when you are playing this game.
And lower player count too.
Oh, for sure. It's just more obvious, and then you have to like rely on yourself just to do it instead of hoping that somebody else will stop them.
Very back and forth. Also, fun fact, the back of the board reminds me of Fun Chocolates.
Fun Chocolates.
It's like this teal with stars, I think.
Right.
Looks like a nice, like when you open the box to fancy chocolate, that's what I expect the inside of the chocolate box to look like.
Hungry.
Well, that has been our review of Mille Fiori.
Have you played this game? What did you think of it? Or are you looking to play this game? Let us know down in the comments below. And for the question of the day, what do we got?
If you were to try a hobby out there that's a little bit different than maybe what you typically do, what would you try? In the vein of glassmaking.
Maybe glassmaking.
What would you try?
What would I try? Maybe like pottery. I guess that's kind of along the same veins.
They are in the kiln, and I think glass needs to be hot, so that's close.
Or like blacksmithing.
Oh,
like
that'd be
trying
fun.
to make a knife or something. I think that'd be interesting.
I think I would like to do something like identification, where you have to like identify bugs or fish. Because then you get to learn a lot, and then it'd be a really practical thing to be like, oh, like look at this bird, it has this thing, and it means that.
Oh, I already want to get into birding, so I didn't think that counted for me.
It could count. I don't know.
But let us know your hobby down in the comments below.
And if you appreciate this video, let us know in the comments down below. Hit that thumb up, hit that subscribe button. Feel free to check out our Patreon and Discord as well. And if you want to learn how to play Mille Fiori, click that link right here. Have a great rest of your day.
Bye.